Okay.
So, in the Daily Mail, there's more stories about MPs' expenses. Alistair Darling has been caught now. I say caught. He's been caught operating within the rules, which that's what everybody says, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been caught. Yep, doing what I was supposed to be doing.
What's his non-scam?
Well, he's been claiming thousands of pounds in expenses on his family home, despite also owning a London flat.
And of course, he stays at number 11. So
and he stays at number 11.
So he gets a grace and favour apartment.
Yeah.
He gets a second home that we pay for.
Yeah.
And he has his main residence as well.
Yeah.
So why would he need a second home as an MP on expenses when he has a grace and favour apartment? Oh, because he's operating witin the rules.
He's operating within the rules.
Now everything's clear.
The rules dictate that you have to have several homes.
Do we know when these rules were made? Was this during the Thatcher years? Because
I think it was during a drunken bet, would be my guess.
Because they keep saying these rules, but when did these rules come in? I don't think they go back that 100 years.
I don't think they go back that far, no.
But this is the problem with this, is that you know, these rules do exist, and they exist basically to cover up the need for MPs to be well paid. My own take on it is that should be an extremely well paid job. I would like it to attract people who are qualified and want to earn that sort of money. Can
I tell you why I think I've got a problem with that? Because the national average wage, which our MPs, certain of our MPs, are very quick to forget, is 24.5 grand a year.
Yeah.
They're earning as a basic salary 3 times what the average person in this street earns. OK, they work quite hard, some of them, not all. They do get long breaks as well. They get plenty of perks in terms of some expenses here. I mean, Jacqui Smith's list you've got in a moment, I know, is sort of vast. But, you know, if your MPs are supposed to represent the people, the ordinary man in the street, they need to be in touch. And if the ordinary man in the street is having to get by on 24.5 grand a year, I think MPs getting away on 3 times that, doing very nicely, thank you.
Well, yeah, but then are you going to attract really, really good people to those positions?
Yes, absolutely, because if you don't attract people who have a sense of public service, then you don't want them. I completely agree with Matthew that, you know, you don't want people to come into this for the money. They get a huge amount of respect. They get kudos. People...
Do they?
Yeah,
they get cash for questions.
I don't know.
They do. Even the worst MP goes into areas and I don't think we want the kind of people who went into the banking industry to...
But that's the risk you run, is if you don't pay enough, the only people who are going to do it are people who have made a massive amount of money.
What did I read? Tony Blair is currently earning £6,000 a minute, so he's done all right out of being a politician. He's still an MP, isn't he?
For all of that, wonderful charisma.
OK, Jacqui Smith, have you got her?
Yeah, Jacqui Smith. Well, yeah, there's a list of stuff that she has bought and claimed on expenses. Panasonic Mini Hi-Fi, £119. So don't go round to her house to listen to any good records. That's it's not enough, is it?
Patio garden heater.
That's not a decent system. There's a length of white rope. It doesn't say. It doesn't say who bought that. It may have been part of the previous scandal. There's no way of knowing. Fencing supplies. I didn't know she did.
Barbecue. She had a barbecue. And
yes,
this is a vital expense that she just had to have. That taxpayers was meat and a barbecue for that raw meat to cook it up into something approaching. Anyway, must remember it's
service charges on Virgin Media, but we all know what those are for.
And you got more on taxpayers and money.
Yeah, well, apparently taxpayers face a £500 bill to plug Britain's black hole. This is in the Daily Telegraph, which will have terrified a fair few Telegraph readers, I'm sure. I'm
trying to work out what I've read the article, and I'm trying to work out what this black hole is, and the only thing I can figure out is that all the money that Darling is pumping into the economy, the hundreds of billions, the squillions that our money that's being put into the system, isn't enough to cover the promise that he made. Therefore, we are technically insolvent, are we not? Unless we have to go back to the country to get the money. So Britain is broke.
Yes. Well, what's happened is, for years, in the Labour government, they've cozied up with the banks while the banks have been allowed to invent money. The money never existed. They just funded stuff and the money never existed.
And to cover the debt, we've gone to the taxpayer, and we haven't got enough money to cover it.
Yeah. So there's a extra £500, or a few Telegraph readers could bring their money back to the UK from offshore and pay their share of tax, and then we'll have to pay an extra £1.
Nicely said.
I saw some banker being interviewed on the TV the other week, and he was actually talking about the bonus culture and saying, well, yes, we need to pay these bonuses because we don't want to lose the talent.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? We're bankrupt for generations, but that's the talent. Imagine that was a football team and you lost every game 12-0. And at the end of the season, the manager said, I'm going to give the lads a big pay rise because I don't want to lose the talent.
Nicely said. We must jog on. What have you got, Yasmin?